I have not been to Minnesota in probably 20 years.
Bring gas. Welcome to Flagrant Howls, a Minnesota Timberwolves lifestyle podcast.
We got the sports dad in the house, Phil Mackey here. If you missed, Kyle Tighe was on the show yesterday, and we went through our top 100 Timberwolves of all time update, which I want to run. I want to run the top 20 by you because there's some changes that have been made. So we'll do that as part of this episode here today. Also, NBA general managers have filled out I think it's like the 24th year they've done this survey on NBA.com or whatever. And some interesting Wolves-related nuggets in there, as we are now less than 1 week until the start of the regular season. But a shout-out to Mystic Lake for jumping on board for the 2025-26 Flagrant Howls season, Judd.
Exactly right, and certainly welcome aboard to our friends at Mystic Lake. Now, you know what? Mystic Lake, let's talk about the complete package for, in particular, Vikings fans. We're talking about drawings, giveaways, and exclusive fan experiences. If you need a ride to the game, for instance, $15 round-trip ride for every home game. No parking, no hassles, just smooth traveling and lots of skull chance. Stay close to the action at, as you can see right there on the screen, the Hop House, where the game is always on. Specials always flowing. Enjoy fan-favorite dining and drinks while not missing any of the action. Or after the game, relax and recharge in one of their luxurious hotel suites. That's right. Turn a fun day into a great weekend experience. And don't miss your chance to win exclusive Vikings merchandise and experiences only at Mystic Lake. Visit mysticlake.com, and check out that Hop House for a great time.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
Anybody got any Timberwolves news?
That's right. You guys are lucky. It's another batch of the latest Timberwolves news here on Flagrant Howls. And we start with the press release that was sent out yesterday. Let me search my inbox here, because I think they sent it to two of my emails. But Tom Crean, the longtime college basketball coach at Indiana, at Marquette, right? Wasn't he Dwayne Wade's coach?
Yes.
At Marquette back in the day, too?
Yep.
And then most recently, Georgia, where he was Anthony Edwards' one-and-done coach and has a great relationship with him. So FanDuel Sports Network welcomes Tom Crean to the Timberwolves broadcast team. He will be a pre- and post-game show analyst for the upcoming season. He will split analyst duties with five-time WNBA champion and current Lynx assistant coach Rebecca Brunson. So, barring any other announcements, it sounds like those two are going to split duties pre and post. I don't know what that means for any of the other, like the Kevin Lynches of the world who've been part of this crew for a while. There's clearly a bunch of changes happening with Timberwolves TV broadcast because Michael Grady is mostly going to be national. Alan Horton stepping in. Jim Pete is going to be still in his role. But your thoughts on Tom Crean joining the pre and post game for Timberwolves?
I'm excited for it. I mean, he is certainly interesting to listen to. He's articulate. Now, he does have the gift of gab, so I guess my question is, on TV, do they have to get him to shorten things up? Because he likes to go on, which is interesting, but clearly when you've got commercial breaks and TV is done in snippets, it might not be the best form. But as far as studio analysis of games, yes, I think it's a good addition. Now, here's the interesting thing. As I recall, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that the teams pay a lot of the talent themselves. So, like, it doesn't come out of the pocket of the FanDuel people. Now, as far as studio hosts and analysts, I don't know. But it feels like there's been enough changes Timberwolves-wise where this is coming from the team itself. And we know going back a couple of years ago that I believe it was A-Rod and Laurie, and A-Rod, it might have been in particular, who championed the switch from Dave Benz to Grady, which a lot of people didn't like at the time, but then eventually loved because Michael Grady was so good. He's going to be doing, I think, 2 national gigs now. But I'm wondering if this is because if I think also as far as the sideline people go, I think they're going to have 2 people now that they've brought in who are new as well. Katie Storm, right? She was the sideline person last year. I think she's doing more wild studio work. But my point is, it feels like Alex and Mark are playing a major role now in talent. And it's interesting because I will say that, 1, they hit a grand slam on Grady. But 2, Tom Crean, very intrigued. Also, I wonder if Ant pulled some strings for him.
Yeah, I think they still have a really good relationship.
They do.
And they stay in touch. And part of the press release references that he mentored future NBA stars, including Timberwolves All-Star Anthony Edwards. Crean coached Edwards during his standout freshman season at the University of Georgia. That firsthand insight into Edwards' growth, mindset, and playing style will add a compelling layer to FanDuel Sports Network's coverage this season. So I think it's great. I think he's always been pretty entertaining on TV. He's a personality. He's been around a lot of different circles. He's also his wife is the sister to John and Jim Harbaugh too. So he's been part of the Harbaugh family for like 25 or 30 years. Yeah. So he's just an interesting dude. But if I could go down a different street here for a second, it is kind of crazy that in the history from as far back as I can remember, like in terms of pregame, postgame, the Wolves have a really hard time finding former Timberwolves to do this job. Like Rebecca Brunson, Lynx, awesome, credible, right?
Yeah.
Tom Crean, no connection at all whatsoever that I can think of to Minnesota other than Anthony Edwards, which is enough to put him in that role. Like, I'm totally cool with it. Mm-hmm. Kevin Lynch was a gopher who played a little in Hornets. The NBA, but he didn't play for the Wolves, right? Quincy Lewis, our guy, former friend of the radio show, Quincy Lewis, was a brief cup of coffee Timberwolf and a gopher, but like Wally Zerbiak has been on, is it MSG in New York, like Knicks games and whatnot.
Do a lot of Wolves, here's my question, because it feels like a lot of like Vikings players stick around here and live here post-career. Do a lot of Wolves stay here? Like that to me, because Tom Crean's going to, I would guess, have to fly in to do games, I would guess.
They're going to foot that bill 30 times, 25, 30, 35 times.
I mean, I'm sure he could do some stuff, Zoom-wise or through some app, but my guess is he comes here quite a bit for studio work. But my point being is, I don't know a lot of Timberwolves if a lot of Wolves stay in town here.
Yeah, I'm actually going through the top 100 Timberwolves list right now, which, it's probably where you would start if you're looking for. Not many of them hang around the Twin Cities, it feels like. And there's some that have become pretty big media personality. Like Jeff Teague is on one of the big basketball and sports podcasts.
Right.
But he doesn't live here.
No.
Some of these guys are like coaches. Chauncey Billups.
But he didn't stay here, right? I mean, he immediately left.
Yeah. Sam Mitchell's done a ton of media, but he doesn't live here.
Yeah, and Zerbiak was a East Coast guy, so it made sense that he just basically went home and did the Knicks stuff.
Yeah. So you got to find someone that either you pay enough to stay in Minnesota for large chunks, or you fly them as needed, or maybe the answer is you got to keep cultivating relevant enough players that would be recognizable with fans, which was an issue for a long time with this franchise. But it's just kind of funny to me that they have to go, because of the franchise's history. It's just kind of a bleak history. They have to go outside of the scope of the franchise to find, like with the Twins. Think about in-game, pre-post. Yeah. It's just a waterfall of like recognizable former Twins figures, from Laudner back in the 80s and Roy Smalley
Morneau
and Burt Blyleven to the modern, the Morneaus, and LaTroy Hawkins and Trevor Plouffe and Glenn Perkins and Torrey Hunter's been on broadcast. And they had Tom Kelly, former manager, for a few years on broadcast.
Right.
And I'm forgetting a bunch of names too.
Now, on LaTroy and Torrey, they flew them around, but they weren't studio guys. Like, the thing about the studio job is you literally have to like have someone come and spend time here, because they just drive to a studio.
Do you?
I mean, I'm guessing Crean's not going to do it all remotely.
But you and I literally for 5 years, as we've built
I think that's,
have been in the same room very few times doing this.
Right, but we're doing a new creative venture. I think
Why can't this be a new creative venture?
Because I think TV executives are wedded to, we want, the studio people have to be in our studio.
I actually hate that. It's like, okay,
that's a whole other topic. Yeah,
they're sitting in this like, there's like a green. If they're in the arena, it looks cool.
They still wear ties, dude.
I know, it's dumb.
Coats and ties.
Yes, we're sitting and there's like a green screen behind them, and we're
Yes.
sitting in this room and we're going to break down this mid-February
what?
basketball game and hold a marker in our hand.
When
Loosen it up, man.
when Bally still had the Twins in that last year, and Plouffe did a bunch of shows from the same room that he joins us from, it was absolutely fine.
Yes, totally.
Like, he's in California, but it's absolutely worked fine.
And so many people are used to watching. Well, so Pat McAfee has one of the biggest sports shows in the country, love it or not. And Pat McAfee's main co-host, AJ Hawk, just sits on a screen, chimes in about once every 30 minutes. But it's like people are used to watching. You don't. I guess that's my thing with Tom Crean is, hey, they can spend their money however they want to, but I don't personally need Tom Crean sitting in like a crammed studio,
Sure.
with a green screen behind him, wearing a suit. I think there'd be something kind of cool about him being in his own element or what have you. Just make it different. So the national stuff that's now changing hands. So NBC Peacock picked up games again. And the other night they did a preseason game for Milwaukee to kind of test drive the whole deal. I think it was on Peacock. But it was like the NBC production that they're going to roll out for the first time in like 20 years. And they had 3 former players. I think it was McGrady, his cousin Vince Carter, and then Carmelo Anthony with Maria Taylor. Mm-hmm. And they were just like, I think maybe, I can't remember if they were wearing suits or not, but they were just like kicking it around on the court, hanging out, casual, just like not quite inside the NBA casual, but it was a different vibe than like, we're going to sit at a desk and we're going to all be holding our papers and our pens and we're going to seriously break. It's like, guys, it's like a 6-month season. Let's have some fun. Let's loosen it up. Let's be casual with it. So I hope that some of these changes are for the better and maybe for the forward-looking and the modern version of sports content.
Yeah, my guess is you're not going to see that, unfortunately for you, until they leave FanDuel, which I think the NBA is still working on structuring a league-wide television, like where teams control it. I mean, the only good thing from the 2025 Twins was if you did get Twins TV, that production was far better than what Bally's did. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see things change. I also think that those type of shows that are done by the teams is probably partially price as well, are going away from we must have a post game show that's a half hour. Like they'll play the
shorter?
coach.
You'd go shorter.
Yeah, you don't need a half.
That's not that long. Like if it's an entertaining show.
Well, a national show, yes. No, I'm saying like Timberwolves post game. I want to hear what Chris Finch says. You can break it down, but you don't need to, like when they're just milking the clock to run ads.
I agree with that, but it shouldn't be that hard to just like, you got to stop thinking about the way that these local post game shows have been produced for the last 20 years, which is the same cookie cutter BS. If you were to, I mean, let's say for instance, okay, someone came to us and said, all right, hey, you guys are going to be in charge of 30 minutes after every single Wolves or Wild game. We wouldn't do it that way. We'd say, okay, so we get free reign so we get to just like entertain people and be opinionated and then throw it to some clips. 30 minutes would be short. Like, wait, we only get 30 minutes and there's like 8 minutes of commercials. But you have to, I think thinking differently about the way that it's presented in 2025 is the key.
Yeah, and then you'd also need to probably change who does the shows too. Because right now it's very much talking heads of, here's what we're going to break down.
Kicking it around.
Yeah, if you did it more like like this show or something that was more just conversational. But I've always felt like those shows, like those local shows are created to sell spots.
And to be safe, because the last thing because these are like essentially team sponsored shows, right? Or team funded shows. And
anything that is funded by the team. And FanDuel, it's funny. I felt like Twins TV was actually a little bit more, not a ton, but a little bit more honest at times than Bally's was.
Just because of Provis and Morneau, or
because of
the
them,
pre and post you're talking or Laudner had the shackles off more.
No, but because of Corey, but also I feel like FanDuel bends over backwards. I mean, the Wild, no question, not to offend anyone, Like
I feel like
anything
it
that
was
happens.
the same way when it was Fox Sports North and Valleys. I feel like it's been
Oh, it was.
been the same.
Yes, yeah, that's the formula. That's the formula. Like anything that went wrong, focus on the small thing that went. I mean, the team can be in the tank, and it's like, yeah, but coming up next, we're going to talk about that one power play goal 8 years ago. Remember Marion Gabrick?
Turn back the clock.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, Tom Crean, I like it because I think I think he has the ability to teach you things you didn't see or know.
Totally. Okay.
I love Timberwolves news.
I want to run the top 100 updates by you, and then we'll get to some juicy NBA GM survey stuff, Timberwolves related. I'm going to pop this up here on the screen. Let's see here. This up there. All right, you can see this, okay, right? This is very raw here. This is
I was going to say.
This is the raw spreadsheet. Can I go up a little bit there? There we go. Give you a little more room. So I've highlighted some stuff in green that we kicked around and tweaked. Outside the top 100 Timberwolves right now are Rob Dillingham and Terrence Shannon Jr., TJ Shannon.
Okay.
Because I feel like they really didn't play much in the regular season, and TJ Shannon got a little playoff run. I expect for sure TJ Shannon to quickly rise up this list, and then we'll see about Rob Dillingham. But for right now, those guys are outside the top 100.
Kendall
We are
Gill
saying
disrespect is just very upsetting.
I know. Where did we have Gill? 124?
Yeah, that's very, very upsetting. Kendall Gill.
You could actually make a case he should be higher. I would definitely revisit the Kendall Gill ranking here. But basically what we're saying is Darko Milicic is the 100th best player in Timberwolves history.
Okay.
And that's the bar. That's the bar for TJ Shannon and Rob Dillingham to clear. Can you be better than like Josh Okogie and Darko Milicic?
Yep.
I think the answer should be pretty quickly, yes.
And Shannon will, yes. For sure, Shannon.
Jalen Clark.
Jalen Clark, okay.
He played more minutes and made an impact last year compared to the other guys, so he's inside the 100 at 96. I already think he's been more impactful in a small sample size than number 2 overall pick Derek Williams.
I was going to say that is
lottery pick Rashad McCants.
Yeah, that is such an indictment of the draft process, but it's not inaccurate.
I know that those guys had played more games as Timberwolves, but don't give me those hollow, dumb stats on losing teams. Winning and impact on winning matter on this list. So as we go up, I'm not going to subject you to the whole thing here. Decide to move Taurean Prince up a few spots.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, why is he in green? Okay.
Yeah. And Terry Porter. We revisited the case for Terry Porter, who was a key veteran helping to unlock those young KG Marbury teams.
Oh, Ricky Davis. Okay. Keep going.
Dante DiVincenzo, previously unranked at 35. This was controversial because
I was going to say that feels a little high right now for the Timberwolves Dante. Like Dante DiVincenzo as a player, yes. As a Timberwolf, I don't know. That's high.
But my logic here was with Fred Hoiberg at 40, a sniper three-point shooter who shot 45% with the Wolves on 2 attempts per game. DiVincenzo, even though he had a bad start and a bad finish, he shot 40% on 7 attempts per game and was also a Swiss Army knife for a team that won 49 games.
Yeah, I'm just saying I might have him outside my top 30 right now.
Well, he is. He's at 35.
Or I'm sorry, top 40. I might have him below Hoiberg right now.
And I'm saying Hoiberg was a good three-point shooter, but DiVincenzo was a better three-point shooter, high volume.
Zach LaVine's at 44.
Yeah, because he was kind of this unfinished. He was like a
Michael Williams,
an uncoordinated.
I think you have Michael Williams spelled wrong.
How do we?
I think he was EAL. I think it was a very odd Michael spelling.
Here, I can change that.
I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. If I'm not, folks, you tell me.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Good veteran point guard from the mid-90s.
Yes.
So you could fight a little bit more on DiVincenzo there.
Okay.
Couldn't put him above Anthony Peeler. Billups was a lot better with the Timberwolves than recollected history suggests. You think, he was a Pistons breakout. He actually started like 90 games at point guard for the Timberwolves on playoff teams and was a really good player. Mm-hmm. Okay, Julius Randle entering the list at 27.
Yep.
A lot of room to climb there if you're him. Some people might say that he should be above D'Lo. D'Lo helped the Wolves get from non-playoffs to playoffs. Deserves credit for that.
He'll climb past him pretty quickly this season, I think.
Yeah.
And Joe Smith too. Yep.
Nikhil 24, had to put Nikhil above D'Angelo Russell. I think he was a more impactful player on winning.
Sure.
And then as we scroll up here into the top 20, 20 Tony Campbell, 19 Pooh Richardson, OGs. I still feel like Christian Laettner might be too high at 18, but like he was a good individual player who was very selfish and a cancer in the locker room.
How much of a source of consternation, controversy is the Rubio at 22 and Laettner at 18? I feel like Rubio should be above Christian.
You think so?
Yeah,
I mean, we could.
I mean, it's not like either one led the team to a championship. I mean, they both were on.
They were both on exclusively losing teams, right?
Yep.
Except for maybe Rubio came back on a winning team once, but
yep, I feel like Ricky should be above. I mean, partially because Christian was just a locker room cancer too. I mean, despite
I guess I would even fight for like Sprewell. Now that we're looking at this section here, like the fringe of the top 20, I would say Sprewell above Laettner. Well, just in terms of impact on winning.
I mean, yeah. If we're going to talk about that, Sprewell should go above Tony Campbell and Pooh, who I love, both of them. But impact on winning, yeah. Yeah,
so
no question about it. You could
make a strong case that Sprewell should be 18, and then you bump, and maybe Rubio 19 or 20, and you bump these guys.
Especially you, because your whole platform on things like this is not longevity, it's impact.
Yeah.
I mean, Sprewell's impact, his longevity can be debated here for sure. But his impact, he had an impact.
Yep, the committee's gonna have to revisit the fringes of the top 20 here, so we'll definitely put a pin in that one. Sam Mitchell at 17, Andrew Wiggins at 16, Mike Conley 15, Al Jefferson 14.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
you could fight for Jefferson. He was a good individual contributor who played on bad teams too. That he should be right there with Laettner. Stephon Marbury 13, Wally Zerbiak 12, Jaden McDaniels 11, Naz Reid 10. Tom Gugliotta 9, and I explained to the younger audience yesterday with both Terrell Brandon and Tom Gugliotta. Gugliotta, when the Wolves went to the playoffs the first two times, was their best player on those teams.
Yes.
And KG and Marbury were like the young engine, but Gugliotta was an all-star and the best player on those teams.
And was Gugliotta not the first seed that was planted on what became the first incarnation of the Wolves that was successful?
Yes.
Because they made the trade with Golden State. They got him.
Marshall.
They were a younger team at the time. Like the fact that they were not winning games was not shocking at the time. But I feel like Googs was the first like seedling planted on the floor of Target Center that started to grow, and then guys came along. So yes, I have no problem with that one at all.
Yep. So Googs, Terrell Brandon played like 40 more games as a Timberwolf than Stephon Marbury and was more efficient. Their scoring averages were about the same, but Terrell Brandon was more efficient and was on more winning teams. He just wasn't as flashy and as sexy as the Stephon Marbury idea.
Yep.
So that's why I have him above Marbury.
Okay.
Jimmy Butler at 7, just a flash of controversial light that helped the Timberwolves get to the playoffs for the first time in 14 years and then burn the bridge to the ground. Mm-hmm. But he is one of the most influential winning players in franchise history, 7. Kevin Love at 6, Sam Cassell at 5. And that's controversial in that I am saying, and Kyle didn't fight me really on this too much, that Cassell in 1 year as the second best player on a team that may have won the championship if he doesn't get hurt at the end of May, basically, is more impactful in Wolves history than Kevin Love putting up big, hollow numbers on exclusively losing teams for like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, I think if you're going to do that, the only thing I would say is I think you do have to move Sprewell up a little bit at least.
Yeah. Okay. Fine with that. Gobert at 4, Karl Anthony Towns at 3, Anthony Edwards at 2, and then Kevin Garnett at 1. So basically, of the top 11, 4 current active Timberwolves in the top 11. This is the most successful era in terms of playoffs in the history of the franchise. So I think we're leaning toward, hey, if you've had a huge impact on high-level winning, then you should be higher up on the list. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Is Nas slightly too high at 10? Who challenged Nas? Besides Jaden, because they're both current players.
Yeah.
But was there
Kyle's point, and I agree, was So Nas and Jaden, I think if those guys were turned loose on bad Wolves teams throughout the years, their numbers would be a lot better.
Sure.
But they've taken kind of backseat roles out of necessity because the rosters are stacked. But those guys as role players have had a huge impact on going to the Western Conference Finals 2 straight years. Jaden McDaniels is one of the great defensive players in franchise history. Nas Reed, one of the great role-playing offensive players in franchise history.
Yeah. And I guess technically the only players on this list who should challenge them are players who also played on winning Wolves teams, and there's not a lot of that.
Correct. Yeah, if you want to make the case that, like, well, Al Jefferson has better numbers than Nas Reed,
Yeah,
I would say, okay, let's put Nas Reed on those Timberwolves teams, and look what Nas Reed's numbers would be.
Yeah, I don't care.
On 12-win teams. So,
I agree with that.
All right. So there's your top 100 Timberwolves update. Fuller deep dive on yesterday's episode for those that want to go back and really take it all in.
It is too bad that Kevin Love couldn't have found his way onto a good Wolves team.
Well, I mean, they had a couple that should have been. They had a couple good rosters, and I would argue that I don't want to disrespect. He's a good player, but he was a sieve defensively, and I don't know.
I'll rephrase it. It's too bad he couldn't have found his way onto better constructed rosters of Wolves teams where his role could have been clearer. Like he was probably first of all, he came in doughy, like he turned himself chiseled, but that took a while. And second of all, if you had a competent GM building the roster back then, I feel like Love could have been a very influential player instead of a stat stuffer on a roster like now, for instance.
Yeah. Well, and as it turned out, like he goes from the Wolves to the Cavs, and he slots in as the third guy on the Cavs behind Kyrie and LeBron, and that was a perfect spot for him. Just, hey, sit out there, outlet passes, grab a couple rebounds here and there, use your range, maybe we'll post you up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And with the Timberwolves, it was like he was the central figure because they had some players like Kevin Martin could shoot a little bit from the outside and Pekovic, but they needed him to score a bunch of points. So let's get to what NBA general managers are saying about the Minnesota Timberwolves here in a moment. Shout out to Federated Insurance. So Federated is an excellent place to work if you're looking to start your career. Maybe you're a younger Flagrant Howls pup, or maybe you're looking to pivot your career. Federated Insurance was recognized recently by Forbes as one of America's best in-state employers for 2025, and by Newsweek as one of America's most admired workplaces for 2026. For more than a century, Federated's success has been built on a foundation of providing value and partnership to their clients, and that's only possible with great employees. So if you're interested in finding out more about Federated's reputation as a stable, trusted, leading business insurance provider and a workplace, go to federatedinsurance.com/careers to learn more. And hey, so they've got at Buffalo Wild Wings, they've got these Justin Jefferson souvenir cups. So when you go into a Buffalo Wild Wings anywhere in the Twin Cities and you order 12 wings of any kind, you can get one of these Justin Jefferson souvenir cups. When you get one, you can scan the QR code on the side, and you can enter to win Victor's Ride, your very own Polaris 1000 ATV. Could be yours if you win. Victor will drive it right up your driveway, and he'll deliver it to you. So Buffalo Wild Wings, the preferred sports bar of the Minnesota Vikings, and Pepsi, the official beverage of the Minnesota Vikings. You can get these cups when you go into a B-Dubs and order 12 wings of any kind. All right, Judd, let's continue our journey. Who wants more Timberwolves news? That's right. I see you out there craving more Timberwolves news. So I'm gonna give you the answers to like 9 or 10 of these NBA GM survey questions that pertain to the Timberwolves. This is the 24th annual GM survey. GMs responded to 49 different questions about the best teams, players, coaches, offseason moves, etc. GMs were not permitted to vote for their own team or personnel. Mm-hmm. The answers are based on the pool of respondents to that particular question and not necessarily all 30 GMs. So they give you like percentage of vote for the answers, and it's possible that some GMs didn't vote for every question around it. But so which team will win the NBA Finals this year? 80% Thunder. So 80% of GMs said Thunder are the champions this year. 83% said Celtics last year. So, and then tied for 2, 7% Cavs, 7% Nuggets. Others receiving votes, Knicks and Rockets. So the Timberwolves did not receive any votes among GMs to win the NBA championship.
So Durant got the Rockets a couple of votes, and the
How
Knicks.
about the Knicks getting a vote or two? Interesting.
Yeah, I'm very curious. I'm very curious to see what becomes of the Knicks. Like, and Tibbs, I know he's abrasive, and I get all that, but I don't know. And I do like them. They're a nice team. I don't know if I would vote for them as a. I think my favorite to win the finals would probably come from the West right now.
I mean, OKC, the fact that they won it last year and they're just going to get like a little more mature and maybe a little healthier for a full season. We'll see. I mean, injuries are hard.
But the West is, the West, to me, the West is way more stacked right now.
Yeah. Let's see here. In terms of Western Conference standings, only 3 teams got first place Western Conference votes. Oklahoma City, 87%, Denver, 10%, Houston, 3%. The Wolves came in 4th in the general manager Western Conference poll, just ahead of Golden State, Clippers, Lakers, Dallas, San Antonio.
Oh, that's great.
Most of the Wolves' votes were for 3rd or 4th in the Western Conference among general managers.
Yeah. And that to me, like, yes, that's fine. I don't care about that. Like, winning your conference to me is, or like your division in basketball or hockey, in my opinion, it can take more work than it's worth, especially if you're getting to be a veteran team. I would far rather you get in the playoffs. If you can get home court, that's awesome. But the whole thing about, we won our conference, that's a lot of work, and the playoffs are already long and arduous.
Yeah, I'm with you. It really takes a special level of health and togetherness to go out and chase the 1 seed. So, but I think if you can land like anywhere in the top 4 seeds,
correct,
get home court in the first round, then kind of see what happens. All right,
absolutely.
Don't be sweating the 6 seed all season. Who will win MVP? 67% Jokic, 10% Luka, 8% SGA repeat, 7% Wemby, and then others receiving votes: Giannis, Donovan Mitchell, and Anthony Edwards. So he got at least like a vote or two. Some GM.
I think the Wemby one's sneaky. I think the Wemby one
healthy.
is very sneaky.
He'd have to take a step, stay healthy, and the Spurs would have to be like in the mix in the West. They can't be like 10th in the West, No.
So Shea's at 8%?
Yes.
Yeah. That's sort of surprising.
I think there's a lot of just like
fatigue.
Yeah, I was going to say skepticism, but fatigue is the better word. There's SGA fatigue. Yeah.
Flopping fatigue.
Because he is, on his own merit, he's a really good player, but he doesn't go from being a really good player to MVP without that layer of embellishment and flopping. I think that's fair to say.
Makes sense.
But the game allows it. If you were starting a franchise today and could sign any player in the NBA to start your franchise, who would it be? 83% Wemby, 13% SGA, 3% Jokic. And that's pretty much the extent of the list. It's 3 guys. Jokic is 30, by the way. I don't know that I'd be starting a franchise with a 30-year-old. But
no. I would put, based on age, Ant above Jokic, solely based on playing time left. But those last two categories, if I am Tim Conley, I am running those to Ant. I am sprinting to Ant's house.
Did you see Ant? So Ant's got this YouTube channel, and he's got some producers that did a docuseries last year and stuff. And he put out what was the name of his awards?
I just watched a part of it this morning.
It's hilarious. He has one it's the Hater Awards.
Yes.
And it's him with like his buddies just sitting in a room, like kind of talking to the camera casually. And the 4 Ant haters, Charles Barkley, he put Magic Johnson on there, and he's like, "You're a goat, but you hating." He put Skip Bayless.
Yes.
Skip Bayless, because Skip has deemed Ant his new LeBron, basically. The
Yes.
Can't Man. The Can't Man.
Yes.
And there is somebody else on there. But the fact that he sees and hears what guys like Skip Bayless are saying.
Oh, yeah.
And instead of being like, ignoring it, or he laughs at it and makes a joke out of it and just lets it bounce off him. I think he has fun with it. It's a hilarious way to handle it.
The Magic one takes guts. That's awesome.
But he did it in a tactful way. He's like, I'm not going to disrespect a goat, but I see you out there.
It's the
You
believe that
The Believe That Awards.
which includes White Boy of the Year, Hidden Gem of the Year, Reporter of the Year.
Was that Johnny K? Is that what I saw?
It was Shams, Malika Andrews, Johnny Krasinski, Taylor Rooks, Bill Simmons.
Okay.
Woman of the Year. They got next. Hater of the Year, which is the 4. Artist, and then Sneaker. And all of the nominees for Sneaker, AE1.
Yeah.
They're all his.
That's
All nominations.
hilarious, man.
He's got a good sense of humor.
He's hilarious. Who's the best shooting guard in the NBA? 70% of NBA GMs said Anthony Edwards. 13% Donovan Mitchell. And then Luka, who's kind of a shooting guard, kind of a point forward. I don't even know what you would call him, but he's 7%. SGA 7%. SGA is more of a point guard, but some of the positions get blurred together in today's NBA.
Yes.
Which rookie was the biggest steal at where he was selected in the draft? Tied for 4th, Yohan Beranger. 7% of GM said, ooh, that's a steal at 17 for that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the best defensive player in the NBA? 80% of GM said Victor Wembanyama. Wemby. I'm just going to stick with that. But tied for 2nd, Rudy Gobert with Evan Mobley. So, I mean, that tells you right there, too, that maybe, like, there's things that drive you nuts about Rudy and his little ping-pong paddle hands and, he, when he tries to dribble and stuff. But when it comes to affecting things at the defensive side of the floor, even at his older age, even a little bit of regression setting in.
Right.
NBA GMs are still saying, yeah, that dude is hard to play against. Which, I'll give you a couple more. Which is the best defensive team in the NBA? Thunder, 83%. Timberwolves tied for 2nd at 7% as the best defensive team in the league.
That's fair.
Which head coach runs the best offense? 53%, Rick Carlisle. Tied for 2nd at 10%, Chris Finch. I don't know that would be reflected in the way that like fans and commentators view like who watch the Wolves every night would say.
Well, so I think but that comes from the fact that part of the reason why Gerson went out and plucked him off the Raptors staff without talking to any other candidates, I think was that, right? Like he's known as an offensive mastermind, and look, if you're a GM and you get this list, right? Hey, vote on these things. You're going to go with some biases that exist. So I found that one to be really intriguing because not to take anything away from Finchy, but I would agree with you. I don't know Timberwolves fans that watch this team every game would, if they had the same ballot, would immediately put Chris Finch that high. Yeah.
Now, I think I'm just curious here. I think he would tell you, like the Timberwolves, when Rudy Gobert is not on the court, their offensive rating is like, it's 117.7. I'm curious where that ranks. If you took the Wolves offense with Rudy off the court.
Just get rid of Rudy.
117, which like obviously Rudy makes such a big impact defensively.
Right.
But it is
flying games.
It's like it'd be the 6th best offense in the league.
Right.
So and as it stands, even with like Rudy, the whole thing all together, the Wolves were the 8th best offensive rating in the league.
Right.
So Finchy would say, okay, like Rudy has been a net positive for us, but he does hurt my offense. So you can't judge me solely. If you were to give all these other coaches a guy that can't catch a pass, basically, it'd be tough.
So the question becomes this: if you took Gobert off the Wolves and allowed the offense to run in its purest form, possibly, could you outscore your defensive deficiencies?
Yeah. Well, they kind of did that before they traded for. They made the playoffs, won 46 games pre-Rudy, and they found a way to make defense work a little bit, just schematically. But it was a little more free-flowing. Of course, that was before you had a fully realized Anthony Edwards.
Sure.
But there will be a day soon in the next couple of years where you're going to have to win games without Rudy Gobert as a defensive backdrop. Does your offense, to your point, take a step forward? Maybe your defense takes a little step back, but the net.
Beranger step in as a natural transition and just take over the Gobert role at the tender age of what by then? 22?
Well, he's
21?
18 right now.
Right.
So I think, maybe
okay,
20?
so 21,
20? Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's the best assistant coach in the NBA? By far, the highest percentage of votes, Micah Nori. How about that? The league
He's got to get a job at some point. I mean, he's
been interviewing.
Yeah, with what the Knicks talked to him. I think there were a few more after last season. So he's got to be close.
And then which active player will make the best head coach someday? Number 1, Chris Paul. Tied for number 2, Mike Conley, 17%. TJ McConnell, Fred VanVleet, Drew Holiday also listed on this poll. So
can I just point out at least my perception of the differences in personality between Chris Paul and Mike Conley?
Yeah. Oh man, I think Conley would be a great head coach. He's fiery enough, but like calm,
teacher.
Relatable. He's a teacher.
I think he'd be great with a young team for sure.
Yeah. Chris Paul depends because he would butt heads with some guys. He'd get very annoyed easily. He'd probably get ejected all the time. Yeah, he'd probably fight with owners because
he'd last about 3
He's been ahead of the NBA PA for chunks too, right? So
yeah.
So that's what NBA general managers are saying about the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Hey Phil, is that Timberwolves news I see?
I would
next week.
I would take the 2 categories where Ant is basically ignored, including MVP, and I would drive them to his house right now. I'd
Blow him up on some tag board.
I'd say,
canvas, maybe some canvas.
Buy billboards.
Yeah, on his drive into the arena,
like 3 billboards.
We're going to replace the arms wide billboards, and we're going to put some Anthony Edwards ones up there. I love it.
Haters.
Mm-hmm. All right, he's the sports dad. I'm Phil, and we appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on Flagrant Howls. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button and the like button on the Flagrant Howls YouTube channel. And then over on Apple and Spotify, you can help us by giving us a 5-star rating and a positive review on this Timberwolves Lifestyle podcast. See ya.